I want to start, Jules, with Manchester United's interest in Manuel Ugarte from PSG, who you can tell us more about, the Uruguayan international who's in Copa America action this summer.
Yeah, very interesting one, I believe. And I was told that there was a first offer from United that was rejected by PSG, who, paid 60 million euros a year ago for Ugarte. At that time, PSG saw him as this number 6 defensive midfielder, really an enforcer who would recover the ball and is that kind of presence in midfield, which he has been for the first few months of the season. And then I think physically he tired a bit. He lost his place in the team. Luis Enrique preferred a more comfortable ball-playing defensive midfielder, if you want, like a Vitinha, for example, or Zaire Emery, those kind of profiles, Fabian Ruiz. And then Ugarte found himself on the bench, and he doesn't want to be on the bench. Luis Enrique is not sure to find him a place in the team for next season, so he's become available on the market. And it's not just United. I think there's a few clubs in Spain and in Italy as well who see him, considering the good seasons that he had at Sporting before coming to Paris and the good start of the season that he had at PSG last season. A really good young player, young prospect. So PSG, I think, will want to cash in to reinvest that money anyway instead of keeping him on the bench. He has really some good assets in his game. He reads the game well. He's a physical player. He's not scared of going into challenges, and he's a really strong boy. But on the ball, when he has to build up from the back, he's struggling a little bit, and that's why Luis Enrique never really fancied him.
All right, we must move on to another young starlet that's been likely to be moving to Chelsea from Barcelona. We're talking about Marc Guiu, who we got to see this season for Barcelona. And it's a very low release clause. You wonder if Barcelona are kicking themselves for letting him be put on the big stage that they have done, Jules.
Yeah, 6 million euros for Marc Guiu, who we saw, as you said, making his debut last season on ESPN with Barcelona in La Liga against Athletic Club de Bilbao, scoring, I think, on his second touch, which was pretty incredible in that game. Then he went away with Spain, youth teams, for example, and did extremely well. Is he a super talented kid for the next few years? I'm not convinced, to be fair. That's maybe why the release clause is only 6 million euros. There's a reason why Barcelona never really offered him the new contract that he wanted, because maybe they don't really believe in him that much. He's not really a La Masia type of striker too. He's strong, he's quite physical, he's quite quick, but maybe not the best technically. So I guess from a Chelsea point of view, it's a very low-risk transfer. 6 million is nothing for them. You get him. If he's successful, if he's good, great. If he's not, you're going to make your money back somehow. So, yeah, I can see this one happening, but I'm not really sure he will solve many of the Chelsea problems going forward in the efficiency department, if you want.
OK, speaking of strikers, Romelu Lukaku could be going to the red and black side of Milan. He's been linked with Milan, and obviously there could be a bit of a battle there against Napoli with Antonio Conte heading things up there now. But what's the latest here?
I mean, I saw those rumours about Milan going for Lukaku. This is not really what this Milan side does. This is not what the owners do. This is not how they do the recruitment. They want young players. They certainly want a Lukaku who's 31, who did okay at Roma last season, and then Mourinho, and then obviously Daniele De Rossi. But, I mean, again, I'm not sure what you're going to sign Lukaku unless you get him on loan, and that potentially could maybe suit them because they want a number 9. They need a number 9 for sure. Giroud is leaving, so they need somebody there. But so far, the targets that they've had, someone like Joshua Zirkzee, for example, is not at all, one, the profile of Lukaku, and two, the age or the money that they will spend on Lukaku, who's on enormous wages. So I find really that one difficult to understand on Lukaku and Milan. However, for Napoli, it's a bit different because Antonio Conte said today that Osimhen will leave, that there's an agreement between Osimhen and Napoli to let him go this summer. Unlike someone like Kvaratskhelia, who Conte said he's definitely staying, trust me, same for Lobotka, same for Anguissa. So there's players who are definitely staying. Osimhen is not one of them. So then Napoli would need a number 9. And as we know, and as you mentioned, Kay, the history between Lukaku and Conte is obviously going back a long, long time. They love each other. And you wouldn't be surprised if Napoli, as a gift to Conte for arriving at the club, bring him Romelu Lukaku.
Any of these transfers stand out to you guys? Any that you're interested in? Or have something to say on?
Well, the interest that Marc gave to is a very interesting strategy, I suppose, from Chelsea. They're going to have to go and bring in players that can do it here and now. That's obviously for the future. The Lukaku one, I thought he had an undying love for Inter. Or was it just Milan as a whole player?
As a city?
It's just the city of Milan.
understand that.
But they've just got rid of,
that as well.
Yeah, they've just got rid of, obviously, Olivier Giroud, who has just been a terrific striker most of his career. Whether you're a fan of Giroud or not, he has been absolutely first class. But as Joe said, they're looking for younger players. You know, I mean, they have to get the age down. And you know, Lukaku, let's be honest, you're not looking at him in this Euros and going, right, that's the guy for me. You're just not. And maybe Antonio Conte will maybe get him to lose a little bit of timber and quicken him up, and he's going to look fresh again, and maybe that'll suit Napoli and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But I don't see Milan making that one, to be honest with you. But you never know.
The Napoli move is the only one that makes sense, and it only makes sense because of Antonio Conte. Otherwise, I just don't see why you take the chance on Romelu Lukaku, this version of Romelu Lukaku, with the kind of wages that he is on. But there's also no question that Conte got the best out of Romelu Lukaku in an Inter shirt. So that for me makes sense, especially as with Osimhen moving on, similar profile striker. That makes total sense. Marc Guiu, it makes sense with the 6 million release clause. In today's market, if you can run in a straight line, you can almost command 20 million. So almost that's a free hit for Chelsea. Whatever happens, they can move him on, and you can almost guarantee that they'll get 20 million for him at some point in the next few years. So that also, and he's only 18 years old, so they've got a lot of time to realise some kind of return on him. Return, assuming that he doesn't make the grade and he has to be moved on. So that is just a common sense move. For me. Other than that, there's, as I say, it's just about Lukaku, and the only one that makes sense is joining.
When Antonio Conte had Lukaku at Inter, Romelu Lukaku at that point could still run in behind. He could still run the channels with some effect. He can't, unless I'm missing something. He can't really do that anymore. Yeah, he can run the channels, but he's getting outrun by defenders. Now, you might say, well, he did have some help in that department because Lautaro Martinez would do a lot of running for him as well. So he needs to have somebody that's going to be able to work as a partnership with him if he goes to Napoli, because he himself, in my opinion, over the last 18 months, as age has caught up with him, doesn't have the ability to run in behind and frighten those defenders anymore. So the point being is that this big love-in that they had at Inter and they had success with, this is a different side. This is a different makeup of a side at Napoli, and this is a different Romelu Lukaku. Yeah, he might get you some goals if you get enough balls in the box and he starts hunting about the penalty area, but he's not going to be able to do the things for Antonio Conte that he did for him at Inter.
Lautaro and Lukaku was a great partnership. So is Gab and Jules. Will Gab be back for the latest
Who's
podcast?
running in behind in that partnership?
Not Gab. Jules will have to run the channel. Jules will have to run the channels. What? You set it up and we hit it out the park.
Will he back, Jules? Will he be back? Will he be with you?
Gab is back, but I'm not back. I'm not there, so he will be with Marc Guiu, I think, tomorrow.